All right, let's get right into it. We have all been there. You're in a big meeting, maybe you're even giving a presentation, and bam, a question comes flying at you from out of nowhere. And in that split second, it feels like a trap. But what if I told you it's actually an opportunity? Today, we're going to break down exactly how to turn that moment of sheer panic into a moment of real confidence. Does this sound familiar? I mean, this quote from a Reddit user just hits the nail on the head, right? It perfectly captures that universal feeling of just fumbling. You're searching for the right words, your brain feels like it's buffering, and what comes out is just a word salad. It's incredibly frustrating, but trust me, it's something we can fix. You know, the second that question is asked, your body can just hijack the situation. Your heart starts pounding. You can feel every single eyeball in the room lock onto you, and your mind, poof, it goes completely blank. That's a totally normal physiological response to stress. And here's the thing, just knowing that, just recognizing it for what it is the very first step to getting it under control. So here's our game plan. First, we're gonna tackle what I call the spotlight problem, why we freeze up in the first place. Then, we'll cover the single most critical mindset shift you need to make. After that, we're jumping into the practical stuff. A toolkit for buying time gracefully, another one for answering with value even when you're not sure, and finally, an advanced technique using frameworks to sound like a genius. Okay, section 1. Let's dig into the real reason we stumble. Because it's not actually about not knowing the answer. It's about how we react when we feel that intense spotlight suddenly swing over to us. So look at all these common mistakes, trying to fake it, just winging it and rambling, maybe even answering a question that wasn't even asked. What's wild is that all of these things, every single one, they all come from the exact same place. We make it all about us. We get so worried about how we look in that spotlight that we completely lose sight of the real mission, to actually help the person who asked the question. And that right there brings us to the absolute heart of this whole explainer. This is it. This is the one big idea that if you can really absorb it, will fundamentally change how you handle these moments forever. Here is the shift. You have to move your focus. Stop trying so hard to seem smart and start trying to genuinely be helpful. The second you put your energy into the person asking the question and what they really need to know, all that pressure you feel just evaporates. Your brain is suddenly free to actually think. It stops being about your performance and starts being about the conversation. And this is your new mantra. Seriously, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. The goal is not to have every single answer. Nobody does. The goal is to always add value. Once you truly believe that, you unlock a whole new playbook of moves. All right, let's open up our first toolkit. Because before you can add value, you often need just a second to breathe and think. The secret is learning how to create that pause without looking like a deer in the headlights. Think of these phrases as your instant go-tos. You can start by acknowledging the question, something simple like, "That's a really great question." Or you can reflect it back, "Okay, so what you're asking is," or my personal favorite. You can just be honest. "You know, I need just a moment to pull my thoughts together for you." Each one of these buys you precious seconds to let your brain catch up. But you want to know the absolute most powerful way to buy time? Ask a question back. A smart, clarifying question does two incredible things at once. One, it gives you time to think. And two, and this is crucial, it makes sure you're answering the real question, the one hiding underneath the surface. It shows you're not just a talking head, you're a thoughtful collaborator. Okay, so you've bought yourself a moment. You took a breath. But what do you actually say when the answer still isn't fully formed in your head? This is where we get to focus on that new goal, adding value. This is that moment of truth, isn't it? You've paused, you've clarified, but you still don't have that perfect, polished answer. And you know what? That is completely okay. This is not a failure, it's a chance to show your honesty and your resourcefulness. So instead of faking it, you get real. You can share what you do know. Well, here's what we know so far. That's already helpful. Or you can acknowledge what you don't know. I don't have the exact figures, but my gut tells me it's roughly in this ballpark. Or my favorite, turn it into a team sport. That's a fantastic question. Let's actually work through it together right now. See, you're adding value. And please, do not forget this power move, deferring to the right person. This is not passing the buck, this is strategic. It shows you know your limits, it shows you know your team's strengths, and most importantly, it shows you are committed to getting the absolute best answer for the person who asked. Now, this idea is a total game changer. It's called a hypothesis-driven assertion. Instead of just saying, I don't know, you propose a plan to find out. You're showing how you think. You're basically saying, I don't have the answer right now, but here's the logical, step-by-step plan for how we get it. It immediately shifts you from being reactive to being proactive. It's pure leadership. Okay, so we've covered how to answer when you don't know. But what about when you do know the answer, but it's really complicated? For our final section, let's look at an advanced way to organize your thoughts on the fly so you never ramble again. The tool here is called a framework. Think of it like a simple mental blueprint for your answer. Instead of just starting to talk and hoping for the best, you pour your ideas into this structure. It keeps you on track, concise, and makes it way easier for your listener to follow along. And one of the best ones out there for questions about your past experience is the STAR method. The STAR method is just beautifully simple. S is for situation, quickly paint the picture. T is for task, what were you trying to achieve? A is for action, what specifically did you do? And R is for result, what happened because of your actions? Hitting those 4 points ensures you tell a complete, compelling story every time. So let's recap your new playbook. Number 1, shift your mindset. It's about being helpful, not looking smart. Number 2, buy time. Use a pause or a smart question. 3, add value. Share what you know or propose a plan. And 4, use a framework like STAR to keep your complex answers structured and clear. The next time you get put on the spot, I want you to remember this. That unexpected question, it's no longer a threat. It is an invitation to listen, to collaborate, and to add value. You now have both the mindset and the tools to handle it with total confidence. Because think about it, when you can turn a moment of uncertainty into a collaborative, problem-solving conversation, you're doing so much more than just answering a question. You're actually leading. So I'll leave you with this to think about. How will you use your next unexpected question, not just to answer, but to lead?